Hi, good afternoon. This is Malar from Hearts&Minds Development Center. Welcome to Being Whole, Being Me, and of course, today we have another special guest, a good friend of mine. I would say very glad that he said yes. So, what are we going to talk about? I'm very sure all of us have, at some point of time, thought about what does it mean.
Excuse me, Microsoft PowerPoint need.
Oh my gosh. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Yes, that was my helper reminding me that I didn't do something. I thought I had muted him, but he insists on coming on board. So, as I said, I'm sure at some point all of us would have paused for a bit and asked whether we are at our best, because I believe all of us strive to be our best version all the time. And we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, I dare say, Mohammed Mustak, very well known as Tucker. I'm going to bring him so that we can ask him how to be our best version, which is what we're going to talk about. Let's put our hands together for Tucker. Hello. Are you muted? I can't hear you, Tucker.
Yes, I am muted. The most famous phrase of the pandemic era, you are muted, yeah?
Yeah, but it's nothing like my helper coming on and saying you've not backed up. Okay. Anyway, welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for saying yes to the show.
Pleasure. Thanks for inviting.
Yes. Okay. So good. So we are all now like very excited because after today we are going to lead ourselves, by being our best version, right, Taka?
Well, I hope so. I mean, well, it works for me. I'm not too sure it works for you, but yeah, I hope so. It will benefit many
Yeah,
others.
that's why you are here, because we want to make sure. I want to make sure how is it that you do this all the time so well, right? So a bit of background. I don't know whether you remember where we met, Taka. Do you remember?
I know the work we've done. The first time we met, was it in some Tose shop?
Hey, no, that was not the first time. The second time we
No.
actually met.
Yeah, people potential.
Exactly, it's Terry Neto again. So remember we were presenting together, and then we caught up, and after that only the Tosa in Plana Jaya came.
Correct.
Right. And I think it's worth putting on record that I was really very impressed at the way you treated me when we first worked together, and you've left a footprint in my heart, which is why I'm so grateful that you're here, Tucker.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now say it publicly already, so I don't have to say, I haven't said it. But I'm just going to welcome a couple of friends who are here. Gerald Fernandez, very good friend of mine, always here. Hi, Ashok. Good morning. Jason Aya is here, another good friend, and James Fong is here. So welcome to the show. We have Tucker, and we are going to talk about leading ourselves, being our best version. So tell us a little bit about your background, because you were in the corporate world, leading a very interesting organization, and then you decided that you will be on your own.
Background. How far do you want to go? My background.
How far?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe just give you some backstory of because it shapes my thinking, my life quite a bit. Yeah. So I come from mixed parentage. Yeah. I'm not. As you can see from my looks, I'm not a Malay at all. In school, people used to call me zebra because my late mom is Chinese. My dad is Indian. Yeah, Malayali. Yeah. So and he came from India. He actually came from India. So people used to tease me zebra. I take it as kids. We're just kids and everything. That shaped me quite a bit because at a very early age, we just had to be our own unit, as in because I think back in the 60s, mixed marriages is not really common. Yeah. So So yeah, we had to be on our own. We had to be independent. Yeah, so I grew up. Yeah, I grew up as so very close knit family. Yeah, my family and I, mom and dad. Yeah, and then my siblings. So because of that, yeah, it shapes us quite a bit. Mom and dad had, I would say combined, I think they had like 5 years of education. Yeah, combined. Yeah, between the two of them. So yeah, they worked hard. So that left an imprint on me. So one of the things that I really believe in is about working hard.
Right.
Yeah. So because my dad, they, they did a few things, but for what I can remember, it's all about running the restaurant and the canteen after that. Makan place. Yeah, and so they work long hours, and but yeah, they provided with a great life. Yeah, they provided with a. I'm saying it's a great life, guy. I know some people say a great life is a different version, but for me, being happy, yeah, that's great. So that shaped me quite a bit. So, but in school and everything, I wasn't the smartest kid. In fact, I only knew how to read and write, yeah, in standard 5.
Seriously?
Yes. In
We
fact,
all have hope.
yeah, I was really bad in school. I remember my sister telling me once, just before in those days, there was no PMR, it was penilaian, if you recall. Yeah, maybe in those days. For some of
I'm
you,
assuming I'm younger than you, okay?
I'm sure you are younger than me. I'm 54. I'm
Penilaian, that's
I'm 54 in a couple of weeks, in 3 weeks' time. And I remember my sister telling me, hey, Tucker, this year, when I was in Standard 5, my sister said, if you don't pass this exam, you will stay in Standard 5 forever, And I was like, oh my God, because I do not know how to read and write in Standard 5. So I said, I have to do something about this. So I do not know. I started to read and write in Standard 5, and I got 5 Bs in the exam.
You started in Standard 5 and you got 5 Bs.
Yes. In fact, I still remember telling my mom, my mom asked, hey, how's the results? When it came out, I said, yep, semua bagus. 5 Bs, that means all bagus, right? And she's not really, what do you call it? She doesn't know much about education, as in like results and everything. Yeah, she's just happy and let me be. Yep. So, but the point is this. My point is I just had to work hard. So coming into the corporate world, I made through university and everything. But starting the corporate world, I'm not the best. I remember joining Shell and everything, and I looked at the guys who joined with me. I said, "Oh my God!" The questions they ask, some presentations and everything, and the bosses ask any question. Us new graduates, right? I'll be like, "Oh my God, what do I ask?" And some others would ask, and they would be asking questions. I would be like, "Oh my God, I don't even." It just intimidated me, lah. I can't even think that level. So, but my point is this: I just had to work hard. I just they may be smarter, but not many could outwork me. And I saw that in my dad and my mom, who, they just had to, work super hard to provide me, a better life. I suppose that's their goal.
Right.
So,
Tucker, I need to stop you because I want
sure,
I want to know how did you became bagus overnight? I'm trying to, like, you couldn't read and write, right? So how did you get the 5 Bs? Tell me. Because I remember Standard 5 was objective questions, okay?
I can't even remember what are the exams.
I size it up now because
Oh, you know what? That is something I can't recall, but I remember getting 5 Bs. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Okay. But I really can't recall. But yeah, I suppose, one thing I could do well is I can understand things very, very fast.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did that getting lima bagus tu? How did
Lima
that
bagus.
shape you? How did that shape you?
I mean, that gave me confidence. Actually, honestly, I mean, those days for me was what? Just going to standard six. Like I said, my sister's cat, gave me the impression that, you'll never go to standard six if you don't pass this. So for me, it said, hey, you know what? It gave me the confidence. I went to standard six and I say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can do well in school, lah. I can do better. Yeah, I
And
can do better and everything. Because prior to that, I used to sign all the report cards myself.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are the things I do, and yeah,
Okay,
uh,
so it's really interesting because we are talking about being our best versions.
yeah,
And you are saying that you're not a good student, you couldn't read and write at standard 5, you
yeah,
decided you don't want to stay back and you got 5 bagos,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
when did this discovery of your best version start?
Oh, that discovery. I mean, what I could remember was, I think it's more like having my kids. Yeah, I've got 3 daughters. Yeah, I got 3 lovely girls, and well, they're all grown up now. Yeah, but having my kid, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is. I was doing okay, yeah, I was doing okay. I had a good job and everything, but I think having a kid, starting my family, and saying, hey, you know what, I have more responsibility. I've got this tiny thing now that I have to like make sure, you know, become better than I am.
Right.
Providing something even better than for them. Yeah, all 3 of them, and I think that was for me was the turning point. Really, really important turning point.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know we were talking about your childhood and then I interjected because I
Yeah,
got excited about your best
no
version. So I'm
problem.
going to
No
park
problem.
that because your best version at your conscious level was only there when you had your first daughter. So let's park that. But
Yeah,
let's go to your childhood. After standard 5, now you know you're clever. You can read
not clever. I can get by. I can get by.
you can get by with bagos lah, boleh jadi bagus,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So when you realize that, how did that shape and tell us a little bit more about how it led you into your career and to the corporate jobs and how you started your business.
So I think, yeah, I know I wasn't a best student, but I know I'm not a bad student.
Okay.
So I'm like, what people call average, right? Is the worst of the best, yeah, or the best of the worst. Okay, so you're in the middle, yeah. So I chose. I think this is the optimistic part of me, and I just choose to say, hey, you know what? I'm the best of the world. You know what? There were 3 science classes in my school. I was from LaSalle Klang. The first, second, and third class. I was in the third class, so I was like, that just validated I am the best of the worst. But at least I'm the best. I mean, at least in the cream, even though it's the worst cream, but never mind.
Still
So
great.
that gave me confidence. That really gave me confidence. Yeah.
Nice. And so again, I'm going to interject. So when you say that gave you confidence, how would you define confidence? How does it feel to be confident, Kaka?
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. For me, when I say confident, I'm not the smartest person. Yeah, but when I say I'm confident, okay, I give you a simple example. Being half Indian, I think you have the right to be good with maths. Yeah. I think
I am full Indian. I won't claim that, but I'll go with it.
no, it's somewhere in you. It's somewhere in you. Maybe it's somewhere in you.
It is the Malayali blood. I'm not Malayali.
Yeah, maybe it's the Malayali
It's the
blood.
Malayali blood.
Yeah, maybe. So, for example, I got friends who will come to me and say, "Hey, you know what? How do we do this maths question?"
Right.
You know what? I wouldn't have a single clue, but I say, "Let's go and do it. Let's try to solve it." So what I'm saying is, being confident doesn't mean that you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's about just just going out there, try and be be okay to ask for help. when you do not know. It's fine. You don't need to know everything. Yeah. So I think very early on, that's what I understood. When I do not know something, ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, and it's also okay to say you do not know. And that's, for me, that's my definition of confidence. Yeah. So and I think in life, in my working career, even in my business right now, that helped me a lot. Yeah, because I know where to seek help. Yeah,
Right.
and I'm not afraid to get help, and to say when I do not know something. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me,
And
that's the version of confidence.
how did this shape your career choices, Tucker?
Oh, career choices. It's more of what job I got first. I mean, it's not like, I didn't have. I think kids these days are different. We just go with what's a nice company to be in, and you get a job there, and then it just shapes you. I mean, so it's more by accident rather than design. I did chemistry. Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason I chose chemistry was as much as I say I had some confidence, but I'm not a person where initially I could really speak in public and everything. So that's another reason I chose chemistry. It's something that you work in the lab, you don't need to talk to people too much, you do your work, and you get done. Yeah, you get done. So I had that. As much as I had the confidence in my ability, but I do not have the confidence to speak in front of people. Yes, I'm speaking with you. That's what I do now. But that's something I had to learn. That is
Nice.
something I had to learn.
And are you going to like spring a surprise on me and say you are actually an introvert?
I'm not. Am I an introvert? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm a learned extrovert. I learned to be an extrovert.
Okay. Nice. It
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think
It makes sense though. It makes sense because I mean, in my experience with you, when you speak, but in other times you are just in your cave or shell.
yeah.
And I think Gerald Fernandez, for some reason, I think he resonates with you. He said, Tucker, excellent, and really resonates well with me. So he is probably
Yes,
also
give me a fist bump, Gerald.
he's probably a learned extrovert as well. Just going to read some stuff here from people. Vernon had a couple of compliments for you from just now. So there's this Malayali thing that's going on because Gerald thinks all your intelligence comes because you're a Malayali, because he is one too. Yeah, so I let you do that afterwards. Vernon says, such happy and cheery vibes from both of you today. Yay and yay for the mixed race. But of course, Gerald hijacked the conversation by saying it's a Malayali thing. And Shamini is excited because Shamini is from Singapore, and she's very excited because she belongs to your age group. And Jeannie says, good afternoon. And I don't know whether Jay Kumar is your friend. Jay Kumar Raj says that you copied your exam. That's why you got the 5 bagus, okay?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe you copied him or he copied you. I'm not too sure. So that was quite fun. Vernon says late bloomers spurt at amazing rates. The human brain is an amazing thing. So he thinks you are amazing, and because you're a late bloomer. Maziana, that's my good friend, loves my sari. So I'll leave at that. Vernon again says humility and optimism, superpowers that we underestimate. Good on you. So he is, I think, saying that you are humble and optimistic.
I hope so. I am definitely optimistic.
Yeah, but I'm a pessimist.
Oh, really?
Really, according to Martin Seligman, whom I love. According to Martin Seligman, when I did his profiling, so I am a pessimist inside, but by the time the world sees me, they see the optimist part of me because I have learned it. So you're a learned extrovert. I'm a learned
optimist. Interesting.
I always tell people this, right? If I come across as an optimistic person, that means everybody in the world has hope. Because I'm really pessimist, right? Okay, Shamini Arumugam says, sounds like me too. That means people are all relating to you being a learned extrovert.
Yep. Thank you.
So you've got a fan following now. So tell us, tell us, about, your career. And, I would love to hear your transition from, leading an organization to starting your own business. Which
Ah,
I'm very sure a lot of people are sitting there thinking, now is it my time to maybe start, the business? I don't know.
hmm. I okay. When I knew I'm not the smartest person, all right, but I focus on my strength, yeah, in my career, in my corporate world. So all the while in my corporate world, I always supported somebody else's strategy and thinking because I am very good at which my strength. I think that's my strength, which is connecting to people, and I'm able to translate strategies into action. So that's what
I
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not the best person when I have to develop strategies because well, or at least I think I don't have that thinking as compared to many of the people I've worked with, or even some colleagues that I used to work in Shell or many other organizations. So what has happened is I think it's just before my job in when I took over. I mean, as the COO for Jaguar in Malaysia, that's when I say, hey, now I have to come up with a strategy, and it's like I'm no more riding behind someone else's mind. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. So when I took that job, I think that was the big turning point for me,
Mm-hmm.
and for what I've delivered for Jaguar, that has triggered me to say, hey, you know what? I should do something on my own rather than working for others. Yeah, because of the quick result that we are able to deliver. Yeah, and but the other turning point was this. I used to have a very close friend. He passed away about 11 years ago, and he asked me this question: why are you not on your own? And my biggest concern at that time, because I was already in my mid 30s, I have this salary, and how do I now leave everything? At the end of the month, we go to this machine with the tiger head. You put in 6 digit, the number resets, right, every month. Yeah.
I
Um,
love the way you describe it.
Yeah, but how do you now, leave that all, I mean, and start something new? So I was afraid of failure because, my kids were at that time, like, you know, coming up to like secondary school, and, uni is not too far away. So I was like a little bit concerned, but this is what I still remember the words he said, and I'm going to share this because I could still recall it because it's very profound for me. He says, Tucker, no matter how hard you work, that's your basic salary. And that's about it. Yeah. And you can get some bonuses, all, but that's about it. But when you start on your own, he says, yes, there's no basic, but the harder you work, the sky is the limit. I was like, whoa. That really, for me, yeah, it just like the pin drop.
Right.
Yeah. So that was
And
the moment. That's when I decided to start on my own.
so it sounds to me, and tell me whether I've listened well,
Yeah.
right? It sounds to me that it is the job and how you turned your strategy into action and how you succeeded, right? That gave you that new vision. So can I say that that's when you probably looked at yourself that you are going to lead yourself into the life that you're choosing? Would that
Sure.
be, yeah? Would that be fair
Yeah,
enough?
in that job, it gave me confidence. Say, hey, you know what? Yes, now, instead of me working for someone else, I could do it on my own. I can think and come up with my strategy for my own company.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Okay.
true. You're right.
So tell me, so we've got this best version which happened when you had your first child, and
Yeah,
we have this leading yourself, even though may have done it all your life, and I can
yeah,
see
yeah.
a clear pattern of you leading yourself, but your awareness actually came in that job because you delivered what probably
Yep.
you surprised yourself, so you could see
Correct.
how successfully you led. And then you're saying, okay, now I'm stuck with my 6-digit number and the reset button that that sort of takes me off my security space, right?
Correct.
So, and how did you then, how did you find or falter and decide, okay, I am going to do this on my own? What was the transition?
I mean, it was crazy. I would not, I mean, I would not advise this on anyone else. Yeah. But I just asked myself, what do I love doing?
Right.
What gives me the biggest joy?
Mm.
And I think I even mentioned earlier on about the maths question. You may not know something, but I will go and try to help someone solve the maths question. So what gives me a lot of joy is actually helping people.
Nice.
Yeah. So I asked, where's my space? So that's where I saw that, it's about helping people become better. Yeah. And just, yeah, making things better. And that's why my vision for the company is world-class competitiveness, as simple as that. People say, hey, you know what, it's a little bit big. Yeah, visions are big, but what I do is, or what I really strive to do is, with all my clients and even for us internally, we want to bring world-class competitiveness. And from the feedback I've got with clients and everything, now that we are working regionally, yes, we can deliver. We are able to compete with,
Nice.
other international companies. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the 3 parts of the puzzle, right? So we know where you're leading from, we know where your best version started, and now we know how you transition. You used your passion and
Yeah,
your purpose to anchor you in a new form of security, is what I'm getting.
that's true.
So
That's true.
from the 6-digit number, to the tiger, right? From the tiger to the 6-digit number, you've now transferred that to your passion and your purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So that transition is very clear. So now let's put all of this together, right? So when we talk about being our best versions and leading ourselves to being our best versions, right? So and that's the topic we are talking about before I get carried away.
Yeah.
Now, so what does leading to in being our best version mean to you?
Well, I mean, if I can break that question to 2 parts, yeah. One is what's leading, and the other part is about what's your best version. Yeah. I mean, for me, leading is just simple. It's all about influence. So first you influence yourself. Full stop. Don't try to. Yeah. I mean, forget about trying to influence others. Yeah. When you yourself, I always tell people this, that I mean, sometimes we stand in front of a crowd, right? I mean, Malal, you do that too. I say, you know what, we need to have the moral authority to stand there, to really say something. Yeah. Then so we first got to influence ourselves to be the best version. I'm saying the best version is not being the best we can be, but it's always it's a process. Yeah, we're just trying the best. So we just influence ourselves trying to be the best. So that's the first thing. The best version.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I hope I'm not disturbing your train. So tell us, right, when you talk about influencing the self, so tell us a little bit about what influence means and what do you mean by influencing yourself, right? Because this is something we don't often hear. We always talk about leadership and we always talk about when we want to learn influence, it's about how I influence another person. But here you're telling me that I need to influence myself. I mean, tell me more, because maybe that's what I'm missing out.
For me, influencing, I mean, yes, we have our North Star, we have our values.
Right.
So it's all about, staying on track. On track, on course, living your values. So, the moment there is any you're not living your value, you got to influence yourself. Hey, come back, to be.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's, I'm like I say, I'm not this I'm not. I keep things very simple. So that's for me. That's how influence. I mean, influencing self means
Nice.
living your true self. Living your
Right.
true self. Yeah.
So you've actually given us four. I've picked up four golden nuggets, and if our viewers have picked up more, please put it on comment. So you've actually said, bring passion together with purpose, and then you say align it with values.
Yeah.
And when you go off track, influence yourself back to come
Back.
on track.
Yes.
So convince yourself, this is the path. So you've gone a bit now out. Can you come back? So you've given us forwards, right? To influence yourself so that you stay on track, stay true to your
Yeah.
true north path. And what you're also actually you were saying just now is, as we do this, right, as you pay attention to your passion and purpose, and you influence yourself, you stay your best version. And what I also like is that you seem to think that your best version is not a destination.
Yeah. It's about. I always tell people this. When I left corporate world, I think I might be making more money if I just stayed in the corporate world, because I know where my friends are right now, my counterparts, like right now. But I may not be in the top 5% in terms of income.
Okay.
But I can say I am in the top 1% when it comes to happiness. Yeah, yeah. So, and I think that's about what being the best version of you can be, which is about really saying, "Hey, Tucker, you know what? Are you true to yourself? Are you happy with yourself right now?" So, and yeah, because you will get distracted, and you got to pull yourself back. So that's why I say it's never a destination. It's
Nice.
it's always consistently correcting ourselves and staying on course.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Taka, I've got a question for you.
yeah,
Are you happy now, Taka?
yes, definitely.
Okay,
I
so
can,
so tell us what makes you happy.
and then I'm just happy with myself. I'm being able to provide for my kids. I think I've provided them, especially in the right. I mean, I wouldn't say I've provided them. I mean, maybe I gave them the right path to take. They have to take their path. Yeah. I could only. That's where then the other part of influence come in. I hope that by influencing myself, they can hopefully role model me. So that's one part. And I think spiritually as well, I think I'm okay. I'm not the most pious person. I mean, that's also it's various degrees of it. Health wise, I'm okay. I'm not at my optimal weight, but I'm fine. I go for my yearly checkup and everything. I've got a great relationship with my wife, who's I mean, I think 50% of who I am is because of her role. Yeah. So financially, I'm fine. I mean, even in this pandemic, really, really, I'm grateful for, yeah, to all that. Yeah. So all
So
that,
you are happy.
I am happy, full stop.
And what I'm hearing is that all the roles that's important for you, that's close to your heart, you are showing up with your true self is showing up in its best version, is what I'm hearing from what you're saying. As a dad, as a husband,
Yeah.
as a business person. So, and that brings happiness. And as I say that, Gerald says living life on purpose, because he
Yeah.
resonates with you. And I'm going to read out what Vernon has said before we go on to a couple more questions. Vernon says passion with purpose aligned with values. That's kind like living with maximum authenticity. So he thinks you're authentic. Nice. Shamini says, brilliant frame for influence as a leader. So, Tucker, thank you very much. Brian Cheong, this one I have to read because he's saying something nice about me. I love how he manages to be stunning every life. Yes, thank you, Brian. It's all the love you give me and the cakes you send me.
Oh, nice.
Jay Kumar Raj. Yeah, Brian is someone I just met, out of the blues. I met him at Clubhouse and he sent me cake and flowers for Mother's Day. And after that, I
Wow.
become a mother figure in his life, but we don't talk about it in public. So Jay Kumar says, I don't know Mustak, but I sometimes follow your sharing. Thank you, Jaya. I hope we can catch up. I've got a question from Nate Kumar, another great learning buddy whom I've met on Clubhouse. He says, I'm going to try and say this in Nate's voice. Other than articulating saying, math and saying, let's figure this out. That's how Nate talks. I find this super cool and funny. My real question is, how do you know who and which right person can help you? Do
Who?
you have a manual?
How do
That's
you
Nate's
know?
voice, yeah.
Yeah, who and I don't know. So, I mean, it's all about
To
you.
help you.
Yeah, and it's about just asking. And for me, it's all about, I mean, the right person, sometimes it's just, the person just comes to mind. It just happens. You don't think about it, but you just put it back there and say, hey, I need to get this done, and, maybe, I mean, that could happen like now. Yeah. I could be, in my, I am doing my morning walks tomorrow, or, anytime. It could be later this evening, suddenly a name will appear. So, I mean, I don't really push to get who I can call, but I know, yeah, I know God will help us. I mean, or
Nice.
some divine intervention.
For those who don't believe in God, they can call it law of attraction. So basically, when you are clear about what you want, you're basically saying, you attract the right people and they come into your life. And you need to keep asking, right? You need to keep making the noise to say that I want this for myself, so that people appear, right? Yeah.
And sometimes you do ask a few people.
Mm.
Sometimes, like Nate says, it's trial and error. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. So you have to keep asking, keep looking until the person appears. Maybe the person has appeared and we've missed out, so anything. So the results are a little bit delayed. So tell me, Taka, so when you talk about best versions, right? So, I mean, we would have had, and we know it's an ongoing process to be our best version. And, you're talking about congruence. How do you show up congruently in the world and in the roles that you play, in knowing who your true self is, right?
Yeah.
How has your best version in your personal life grown or shifted?
Wow. How has my best version shifted?
Okay, so your best version when you had one daughter for your first.
I think the biggest. I mean, I think when they were toddlers, because they were quite, they're quite close to each other, and as in age wise, I think when they're toddlers, I thought I changed in terms of where I could live my life, as in, or what I should do and everything. But initially I thought, corporate life, that's me, I'm going to start my business and everything. But I think around this is around so when they were about 10-year-old, my eldest was about 10-year-old. That's when I said, hey, what I need to do is I want to be able to spend more time with them. So, that's where it shifted. Right. And that's another reason where I left corporate world and I started to work from home. The moment I started the company in 2006, I started to work from home. But the pandemic really helped me. When I was working from home, when we were working from home, people were like, you're working from home. But the pandemic had made working from home acceptable, but, digressing a little bit. But I wanted to spend more time before all of them goes to university, because I know the moment they start uni, and then they will have their life. So that's when my priority shifted. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to have more flexibility. Therefore, I am able to spend time with them, because I know that they will be studying abroad. Yeah, so I can really go for an extended period of time and everything. Well, not now, but unfortunately. So that really shaped me, because I know, I mean, now, yes, I know they have their own life, but because I was able to spend time with them, in their teens and everything, that made us very, very, I mean, bond, and we are like friends. We are just like friends, just different. I mean, I do, sometimes my kids, their friends will say, "Hey, Uncle, let's have lunch together." We will go and just meet them and have lunch, and because that really shifted my thinking. I'm not too sure whether I'm answering your question,
No
but
worries.
that's
If you don't answer the question, I mean, it's my fault. So I'm going to ask you a
but yeah,
follow-up.
that's how it shifted from being a corporate and
No,
wanting to
no.
start my
So let's
own.
talk. I love the story of the father. So what you're saying to me, what I'm hearing now. So my question to you is, how did your best version shift in your personal life? For example,
Yeah,
in the role of the fatherhood, right? So one thing that you said is that one shift you made is that you had a goal to spend more time with your children, and for that you needed flexibility, and you worked from home because you were very clear of the end goal. As to, it seems to me, you are clear about the kind of relationship you wanted with your girls,
yeah,
right? And so you started with the end in mind, and
yeah.
you focused how you're going to live your life, right? So but what I want to try and dig out here is that all that spending, wanting to spend time with children and making all of these changes, right? How does that label come through as your best version? What is the best version that comes through when you do all of that?
Best version come true when I do all that, because then it comes down to my word is now happiness. Yeah, so then I feel like I'm fulfilling my role as a dad.
Nice.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also had to fulfill my role as a provider for the family. So I had to balance, spending time
Nice.
with them, and as well as making some money. Yeah, because I do not have any oil rigs, at the back of my house. Yeah, so I had to balance all that.
Nice.
Yeah, at the
So,
same time,
yeah.
balance, what I love. I mean, things that I love to pursue. Do my sports and everything. So yeah, um, being happy in that sense, in the different roles I play.
So what I'm hearing in your personal life, at least, right? So what you've done is that you've brought all the things that you want as to the ideals that you hold for your true self. You have
Yeah,
defined how you're going to show up in these roles, and
yeah,
what you've done is that you've brought them together so that they all coexist at a similar same
sure,
space, right? So
yeah,
which means that you show up this way, your best version, and you're happy in your corporate role or your professional role. You're happy as a provider.
yeah,
And happiness here means fulfillment, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you're happy as a dad because you are hitting all the goals just by
sure,
showing up in this way, right? That's
sure.
what I'm hearing, right? But has this need for the best version to be flexible, to be available for your children, and to be the provider, has any of this shifted now over the years for you? Now, if you
I,
had to find your best version now, what is how has it shifted? If it has
yeah, I
shifted.
think now what it has shifted is just, for me, it is more like, hey, now I got to set the example, therefore they can then lead. So it's no more about me now, it's about them living their life, the best version of them. Yeah,
Nice.
I think that's my focus. So it's no more, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm given up on life. I still have, I'm still very happy, but everything I do now is say, hey, okay, I had a friend who asked me, hey, Tucker, all of them are working. Well, was working until about 3 weeks ago. And why do you still like really push yourself really hard in your work? For me, it's not about, for me now, it's about, hey, I need to show to them that, hey, I need to work hard.
Still,
So,
why?
yes. Yeah, because I need to show an example to them, to my
You don't
kids.
think all these years is enough?
You know, well, no, maybe not. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe not. because I know, but I know they work hard, but I do not want them to think, hey, you know what, we can just slack off.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're basically sending a message like, this continues for the rest of your life, and I want to show you how I do it.
Yeah, it's about like, yeah, it's about as long as you're happy, you know, the amount of work you do. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do a lot of work, but
Right.
I don't feel burnout. So that's a nice, yeah, it's just about balance.
You're happy. You're still at the happy state, no, even though you're
Yes.
working hard, and that's what
Correct.
you want for your kids because you are making fulfilling choices. So
Yes.
you sure you're not addicted to work, Tucker?
No, I do switch off. I do
Okay.
switch off, and I
Okay.
can switch off.
Nice. So my question to you is this, right? So when you say, I still need to show them, I still need to lead the way because, I want to show them hard work. What does hard work actually mean to you in your world? Why is it so important for you?
Oh, well, it's not really hard work, but it's about doing the best we can do. I mean, it's not about hard work. It's always
Okay.
saying, hey, you know what, are we doing the best?
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, clients pay us. I always say, you know what, never shortchange them. You know, never. I mean, so that's what I mean by working hard. But it gives me a lot of satisfaction because that's what, I've seen my dad do. My mom do. They just work hard. Therefore, yeah, that's the thing we can control.
Sure.
We cannot control, others, but so I feel that what working hard is about how we can improve, making it better, and at the same time, what you got to balance. That's why one of my values is, it's about joy, but at the same time, it's about excellence. So it's like a check and balance thing. It's not about you're pursuing for excellence, but at the same time, you're not happy. So
Right.
yes. So the joy keeps me, it's one end of the polarity, and the excellence is on the other end. So it's always, that's what I mean by working hard. Yeah.
They need to come together.
They need to come together.
So is that best version that you described so beautifully in your personal life, is it the same in your corporate role or in your professional role?
I tried to give my best in the corporate role, but the context is different there.
Tell us more about it.
Because the context there is, the best is not all the time serving. The objectives are different.
Okay.
In the corporate world, okay, maybe I'll put it very nicely. I say this. What I didn't like.
Did I tell you that we don't expect you to be nice?
No, I just, sometimes you have a lot of internal battles.
Okay.
In the corporate world. For me, yes, that is something that I cannot, I cannot handle. I mean, not I cannot handle. I feel it's a waste of time. Therefore, I had to shift. I had to shift. I had to, it moved from. I said, you know what? I moved companies because I was looking at the right environment where I can be the best version of myself. I was looking for the right culture. That's why I say, hey, no way. I've got to now create my own culture, which is then I have to create my own company. Yeah. So that's where I had to
give us one example of an internal battle that you've experienced and overcome.
Well, one simple internal battles is trying to serve and please the bosses rather than putting our energy out there to value add to the customers.
Nice.
I mean, I know, yes, our bosses are, or even the peers are our customers, but that shouldn't be the main objective. The objective shifted. Yeah, so that's where my struggles lies.
when you were employed, that's so you're saying that you had internal conflicts, and it sounds like you had conflict of values, and you
Yes,
chose your personal values over what was given to you, and that's how you
correct.
led yourself, because you needed to lead yourself for your best version to come out, right? Because if you led your life the way people expected to you to lead, that means you can't be authentic. And
That's true.
when you're not authentic, you're not your best version, you're not your true self, you're not your ideal self, and that's
And
enough
you're
to
not
kill your
happy.
happiness. Yeah, that's
And then
enough
you're
to
not happy. Yeah,
yeah. And you chose not to let that happen to you. And
yeah,
that's how so you're very clear about what it means for you to be your best version, in what roles and how that shows up. You're very clear
yeah,
about your passion, your purpose, your values, and your
yeah,
true self. So I think all of that is coming through. And you just
yeah,
want to make sure that, to have a good balance, that you balance all of this up by bringing them together and finding a common space for them to coexist so that you don't burn out, right?
yeah.
So you seem to be doing all of that. Am I paraphrasing you like quite well?
Very good. And in
Thank
fact,
you.
you should do the talk for me.
No way.
No,
Right?
no, no.
This is how I sound smart, right? I learned how to paraphrase. So thank
Okay,
you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of comments, right? But as I
okay.
do that, what I would love to hear is maybe one story, if you have, where you compromised your best version, if there is. I'm hoping you're normal and you have, so that would be a good story while I read, so that you can go back to that moment and tell us the story. Dr. Namala says, I like that being happy in the different roles you play. Very important, not always as easy, but it's a choice one makes that makes a huge difference. Yes. Zulkifli says, being consistent. Vernon again says, contentment is the best de-stressing,
Discussing
yeah,
therapy.
therapy. And Patil, he's from India, says, great, that's me. Okay. And Gerald has very nicely redefined happiness, saying happiness index must be high and happiness is an inside job. And he says, wonderful. Cheryl, another wonderful lecturer, best version of ourselves, giving 100% of ourselves. And she's agreeing with Gerald. Jay Kumar says, we should not stop. We should keep our mind working, or else we will fall sick and age faster.
Totally
So
agree.
he's basically saying you're staying young. Zul again says, focus on our area of control. And Mohan says, good afternoon. So, do you have a story where you were human, where you compromised your best version, and perhaps a lesson that you learned?
Actually, yeah, definitely. And well, that was, I think, one of the many reason, I say enough is enough, and I start my own. Was at my last job, yeah, and uh, yeah, in the role as sometimes the head of an organization and everything, you got to you got to do things. I mean, when I say you got to do things that you're not, I mean, you don't like. I mean, I don't really like entertaining people. I don't like going. Sometimes you just got to go to events and everything because of who you are, the face of an organization. Yeah. So I really hated that. Honestly, I mean, I think hate is the right word. I thought I would be okay doing it. But it's just I felt that I was just okay. Maybe I can just go back. Maybe I give you a simpler example. I used to play golf. I used to golf. All right, and I only play. I mean, I only golf with people I like playing with.
Mm,
So I don't really golf with clients or certain stakeholders and everything, because when I golf with them, I have to like be nice to them and everything. You know what, I don't like. I just want to be myself. If I don't like you, I don't like you. So yeah, so I do not want to be like being in an event or going to being at certain place and everything just to please others
mm,
when I'm not happy. Yeah, so that was for me my biggest challenge at the job when I was the COO, and I had to attend. Honestly, I felt it was all fake there.
mm,
Everybody was just being there for yeah, they had objectives.
I get
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it's fine to have objective, but if I don't want that, I don't want that. I mean, so yeah, for me, that's where I felt that I was really
Tucker,
struggling.
you're very polite, lah, Tucker. I'm quite
Yeah,
disappointed.
yeah, but I really struggled at that time.
I can see you're still struggling now to
Yeah,
say it as
yeah,
is, but I think
yeah.
that's why I like you, because you're like, how do I put it that
Put it,
I
yeah,
don't want to
but
be fake, right? So in
yeah,
short, you don't want to be fake, and you just want to be yourself. You want to be comfortable in your skin, and that's how
yeah,
you're going to show up, and you're going to make choices and decisions to show up that way. Is what I
sure,
hear, and that's how the corporate will lost you, because while on one hand we say the whole business objective is to serve the customers, but we end up serving our bosses, which means that we shortchange our customers in many
yeah,
ways, right? And I think that's a very very important thing for us to remember, for people who
yeah,
watch it, because a lot of us get into that space where we are told one thing and we need to do another thing, and we fake it until we make it. But
yeah.
what we don't realize is the struggle and the pain that we all experience. And Vernon says, please tell Mustak's Western and Chinese horoscope as well as his Bristol Myers type. Admire his candor. Whoa, la way. So,
Oh,
Vernon, okay. So, Jay says, love this sharing. She's in the corporate world. Perhaps, that's why she's loving the sharing. Okay. So we've spoken about leading yourself, being your best version, and all of that, right? So last question before we go into a quick rapid fire, right? I'm
hmm
very sure in this space, what I'm seeing is that you keep shifting, you keep growing, and you keep pushing yourself to be your best. So there is contentment but no complacency to who
yeah.
you are, which is a very strong growth mindset, right, Taka? So tell me, how do you shape your learning journey? What do you do to say, okay, now I'm here, I'm going to move here, and for me to move here, what's your own personal development journey, because you don't have a boss?
Whoa, personal development journey. Wow. Do I
I
have
like
one?
it when you say that, because it sounds like I asked a very good question.
No, yeah, it is a very good question. It's a very good question. I do not have like a very long term, 5 years personal development journey.
Right,
But what for me right now, my biggest development journey is is to replicate and to have people to like. The team is growing.
right,
Yeah, so the biggest development or challenge for me is how do we create the same culture mindset as we grow.
nice,
So as simple as that. That is my biggest challenge right now.
nice,
As business grow, sometimes you lose what makes you good. Yeah, because now you got to go and do things through people. So how do I? So that has been my what do you call it? My biggest challenge. And how do I learn that? That's an interesting thing. We all learn from books. For me, that's how I see the company that I am. The phase of the company I am in now is about growth. Yeah. And for me, there are times you just need to just understand that that's what you need. I just have faith that things will fall into place.
okay,
I will find the answer, because I believe what's the saying? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
okay,
Yeah. So the teacher will appear in many forms.
right,
Okay. I give you one specific example. The growth happened by accidents. One of my key team member decided to change roles. So I now had to hire more people to come in to support me. And
right,
because of that, the team just grew. And like I say, I'm so grateful. I just found the right people at the right time. The condition also shaped, everything just falls into place lah. Yeah.
Well, it seems like once you set your intention and you know where you're heading, so what you're saying is that you seem to have a pattern where you attract the right people, or God puts the right people in your space, and the same thing with your development journey, because
Yeah.
you are probably continuously reading and developing, so the thoughts are already in you, and when you need it, you just probably you know which tool to pull out from the wisdom that you're already holding is what I am
Sure.
hearing.
No,
Yeah, sounds nice, right?
it is really true. It is so true. It
Yeah.
is so true. So all I'm saying is, don't push. Sometimes you don't need to really. I mean, I'm not saying don't try too hard, but don't force it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it will come.
And keep growing, right? So you keep growing. You don't know when you would be ready, right? Because a lot of times people want to be ready. They want to get ready when there is an occasion. But what you're saying is that keep working on yourself, and that's what being your best version is.
Yeah.
And when the time is right, everything will fall in place, and you know that you have the resources.
Yes.
And you'll be able to come through that. Okay.
And if
So-
anything, and if anything happens, the net will appear. Honestly.
and the next, yeah. I
Yeah,
believe that.
honestly.
Right.
And you just go out there, you do your best, with the right intention to help others. And just like this pandemic, the net appeared.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so I can see that your faith takes you everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you, Tucker. So we are at 105, so I'm going to quickly ask you some rapid fire questions. Easy.
Wow.
Senang.
Okay.
Something that's for fun. But before that, I'm just going to ask you if there's something if there's something you want to leave the audience with as summarizing what you're going to say, what would you tell the audience who are listening to you and watching you right now?
I like this. I watched this by accident as well. My daughter was like, I reluctantly watched this movie, Three Idiots.
Okay.
Yeah, my kids are saying, "Hey, Pa, you should watch this. What this?" Okay. I think this is back in end of 2010. When I watched it. Yeah. So one thing I would say is, you always chase and try to do your best. Chase for excellence. Others will come. Other things will come.
Wow. Chase for
And I think I got it from that movie. And what is it? All will be well, or something. All is well, or something.
All is well.
All is well.
All is well. You just
All is
keep
well.
doing it. All is well. Nice.
You just chase excellence. Do your best with the right intention. You know what?
Yeah.
You will be taken care of.
So thank goodness you quoted Amir Khan and not another Malayali quote. Okay.
No.
All right, Taka. If there's one question you have for me, what would that be?
One question for you. Wow.
If you don't have
that, how do you become learn optimist?
Well, I read Martin Seligman's book, and I was I study EQ. So when I read his book, I was quite shocked because I didn't realize I was a pessimist, and I understood why I was so unhappy so often. Right. So, and his book was interesting because he's a pessimist, and that's why he wrote the book, because he was very curious to know why other people were happy, right? And so for me, I'm different from Martin Seligman because the outside world will experience me as an optimist because I'm smiling, I'm happy, I'm cheerful, right? But optimism is not being happy and cheerful on the outside. Optimism is having hope on the inside. Right. And so when I did the profiling, I came out as a pessimist, and it suddenly the world turned around for me because I'm now looking at Martin Seligman and in the mirror, right? But what was really good, my greatest takeaway was that there is a way out, and the way out is called the language pattern. So what I started doing is I started tracking my internal language pattern, right, which is pessimist first because of my old programming. So I
Okay.
interrupt my programming to make it what he calls learned optimism or optimism or realistic optimism, right? And I think I do it quite naturally nowadays after years of
Yeah.
practice. But I can tell you that whenever something happens, the first thing that comes is the pessimistic part of the old programming, right? Yeah. So thank you for that question.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I will. I will dig a little bit on that subject now.
I'll send you some stuff after this. So thank you
Sure.
for the question. Now I'm going to go and ask you some rapid fire question. Now,
Yeah.
what does being whole, being me mean to you, Taka?
Sorry, I lost you there.
Whole
Yeah.
and being me.
Being me, being whole and being me, it's about living life happily.
Nice. It is the happiness factor which you've actually defined and
Yeah.
shared a lot of example. Now,
Yeah.
tell me one advice that you would give to your younger self.
One advice to my younger self is, I would say, yeah, get a good. I mean, start early in your education. I mean, get the right foundation. Honestly,
Okay. Nice. And
yeah.
what is that one thing that you know now that you wish to remember in the future?
One thing I know now, and I wish to being grateful. Always being grateful, and no matter what.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what is that one thing people don't understand about leading themselves?
One thing people don't understand. Oh, this is a tough one. I do not know what people don't understand. You don't have to be the most successful person. As long as what you know you're doing the right thing, you're aligned in terms of you're on course in terms of value. That's fine. You don't have to live to other people's standards.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And one myth that you see people hold on to when they talk about being their best version.
One myth. Wow. Being the best version. I think it's about what other people think, or yeah, there are standards that are set onto them. I think that's a big challenge.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
last
wait.
one.
Being the best person, I would say another myth is people say, you know what, I need to understand my purpose. I think that's a big myth.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So Gerald, I'm waiting for a question. It's rapid fire because Gerald is all about purpose.
Uh, yeah.
I'm
It's, for
Okay.
me, it's okay if you don't know your purpose.
Okay. But you can still be your best version without knowing your purpose.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You don't need a purpose to be your best
The
version.
best version.
Your
Yeah.
best version can get you to your purpose. But your
Yes.
purpose may not get you to your best version.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I can paraphrase really well, I think.
Yeah.
Nice one, nice one. So we've just one last
Yeah.
question that I have for you before I let you go. How does spirituality bring the best version of?
Oh wow. I mean, for me, it just helps me being more mindful, I think. Yeah. I mean, I'm a Muslim. I pray 5 times, and those are just nice breaks for me to just put. I mean, yeah, just let everything go, and yeah, it just like it's a good reset. So yeah, that helps me. Being more mindful, being more aware of my surrounding, myself. Yeah.
Thank you, Tucker. That was lots of good stuff that you gave us. Thank you very much for your
I
time.
hope
We are
so.
at 1:13. Gerald says, I'm connecting with Mustak and looking forward to coffee. So he's going to have coffee, but remember, he is not an extrovert. But anyway, Gerald is also not an extrovert. So you guys will have a lot of fun in your own introverted way. Okay, I don't know how that's going to happen, but enjoy it. I keep calling you Mustak, but I like Tucker because
It's okay. Either way.
Taka, thank you very much for spending this Friday afternoon with us, for being candid, for sharing, and for coming out in public despite being an introvert or a learned extrovert. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing, so openly and answering, this question. Oh no, my partner in Singapore say, Malar, I have to say that I like this man.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Finally,
Yeah,
somebody,
finally.
my wife says this.
Okay, we can highlight that. I can send it to your daughters to be sent to your wife also, but I'm sure your wife knows this, lah. Huh? And Zul says prayer is the time to let God, and Vernon
Oh,
says
nice.
great stuff. Oh no, Jay Sinaya also likes you. Okay, and they're both not Malayalis, but never mind. That's not the point. So, Taka, thank you very much. Before we say goodbye, I wish you all the best. And it's been great honor having you. And I really want to thank you for ever connecting with me and giving me the opportunity to work with you in the past, because I think you have influenced me in the way I do business today because of the way you showed how to treat people well. With that, what is it one thing you like to say to the audience before we really say goodbye?
I hope I made your time worthwhile. I hope I served everyone here well. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. So you will have Taka's LinkedIn profile and Facebook here. So for those who want to
Yep.
connect with you, do. For the rest of you, just ask me. I'll give you his number. So I'm going to give out your number without your
Sure.
permission, especially to the two ladies who like you. All right, Taka? All right. With that, thank you, Taka.
You have my permission. You have my permission. You have my
Okay.
permission. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye. All right. So thank you very much for joining us. It's 1:15. I'm really grateful for the people who always join us every week and support us and give us the comments. With that, this is Malar signing off, saying goodbye. If you didn't realize, I was standing all throughout because Tucker made me stand because he was standing. So I was trying to pace him, and I hope I'm going to see how that turned out. So with that, still continue to stay safe, and till we meet again next week with another exciting, interesting guest in October, because October is Mental Health Awareness Month. So take care of yourselves. See you. Signing off. This is Malar from Hearts and Minds Development Center.